Always.
Welcome to Kicking It with Sensei, and today we're joined by best known as Kudo Mal, I suppose. You're very welcome, Mal.
Thanks for having me on. It's really good to see you.
Yeah, and again, we've actually previously recorded this, and with technical difficulties, it didn't work. So it's been must be about 6 weeks in the making of this. But
yeah, last time when we did it, I was in Spain. So
you were in Spain last time, yeah.
The boys behind me now instead. So instead of that Almeria coastline.
Yeah, that's it. And if you just like to give the audience a little bit of background into your martial arts.
Yeah, that was the tough one, isn't it? Well, I started as a child, and then 24 hours later, I'm still going on. I'll just give you a very brief version of it. I started. My dad took me along to a judo club when I was like 7 or something like that. I've said it so many times now. The date changes, but I was very young. Stick of that for a couple of years. Couldn't get into that. I did get into it, but I had a few difficulties like eczema and things, and I was a smaller kid and couldn't connect with it. And then I left to join a karate club. So I've done various styles of karate, and I've stuck with that until to date. So that's probably my highest grade. So now I'm with British Combat Karate Association, and with like Ian Abernethy and Pete Considine, all that sort of group of people. So fantastic people. And that's where I hold my 6th dan. But a while into my training, I was looking for somewhere to really show that karate has what it takes in like a mixed martial art world. But I didn't really want to go into MMA. And so I just came across the Kudo platform, never looked back really. So got into Kudo in quite a big way, grade at Shodan now, and I'm the branch chief for Wales in the UK. So hold kind of a substantial role now. Obviously Kudo's around the UK, and my region is Wales, and managed to get the first Welsh student into the World Championship in 2018, which we're very proud of, which is this one. This is AJ. Just really now looking forward to ploughing forwards and trying to get as many people into Kudo as possible. So doing things like this helps people to go, what the hell is Kudo? And then I get a chance to say what it is.
Yeah. Excellent. And on that note, what exactly is Kudo?
Here we are. So, originally it came from a group of Daido Juku, which is what's on my t-shirt here. Daido Juku Kudo, and Kudo gets known as the sport, but it's not. It's actually the holistic thing. So it's a hybrid system invented by Master Azuma Takashi. It's been around longer than the UFC, believe it or not, and it's obviously huge. Japan, Russia, those sorts of areas. It's got branches everywhere around the world. In the UK, it's very small. So if you imagine karate and judo as a hybrid system, and since then it's evolved. So it's got Thai boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, parts of it. Anybody that's kind of got a foundation in something that tends to bring it along, because at the end of the day, it's a combat sport where you either get knocked out or submitted. It can go to points. We wear the head guard, and that's why I've put the picture behind me. So you can see what they call the space helmet, which means that then headbutt, which is, for me, I think is one of the best close protection, and realistic parts of Kudo. And it makes it different for us. We've got a different rule set, so you don't see our guys going to the ground and staying there for the full 3 minutes. You're looking at 30 seconds on the ground, 10 minutes in a stand-up clinch. And then really we got things like Kime, which is you've got to simulate with downward punches. So there's no ground and pound, but you simulate it. But something I find quite scary is that you stamp, as part of this Kime. There's someone on the floor, you stamp right next to their head, which is really quite scary, especially if you had your head stamped on the street. Yeah. It is a very, very scary thing. And then, but it's obviously people say it's like MMA in a gi. I guess probably that's the easiest way of describing it.
Yeah, it actually sounds quite similar to the system that I actually teach. It was started by a judo guy and a karate guy as well, way back, must have been the 70s. I think that's how we actually came across you in the first place. I think you actually spoke to our head instructor a while back, but it's a very, very, very interesting form of competition, I suppose. And do you think it's growing a lot in the UK over the last few years?
Well, obviously, if I'm trying my best, and I do. There's been a number of growth areas. The thing with any sort of martial art, it's competing now. Obviously, these are my feelings on this. I think all traditional martial arts are competing for the same space within dojos that are opening up. I mean, I've got a full-time dojo, so I pick and choose what I put in there, which is all about, we've got a mixed martial arts, so we don't necessarily need anybody else using the facility. But if you've got a gym, you tend to see MMA gyms now with the key kind of what they consider fundamentals, like Thai boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, right? And maybe they'll have a wrestling, or they'll have something else in there. So because we wear a gi, sometimes for some people it can be a little bit confusing. Is this a system where the belts don't mean anything? You've got like 5-year-old black belt, and is this somewhere I can just drop my kids off, and it's like some sort of kids center, and I'm happy that my kids get stickers and trophies and all the rest of it, or is it the MMA end where actually should I be a little bit worried about this? Should this, it's quite barbaric. So I think, as far as Kudo, I'd say in the UK, we've definitely developed more because we've got more branches now. There was only a few branches. We've just had one open up, and Mark Spencer, who's SPG Bradford. So, and Mark's obviously putting in the structures now for us to continue to grow. I'm supporting him. Us as a group now, we're really pulling together. There's potentially other branches opening up in the UK as well. So as far as Kudo in the UK, it's nowhere near on the size it needs to be at the moment for us to be a big player in Kudo in the world. Because obviously the infrastructure is not there, but we are working hard on it. So it's kind of I'm looking for people that are interested in the art in itself, but taking on board what it's all about and the philosophy behind it. Not just, can I put that head guard on and have a scrap? There's a little bit than that,
Excellent. And what do you think separates Kudo from other combat sports such as MMA and karate combat and the likes of that? What do you think makes Kudo that bit different?
Well, I think, I was going to say the headbutt, the Sambo's got a headbutt too. I think it's got to be the safety element, because the NHG headguard that we wear is a very fundamental part to the full contact training. And if you're not somebody who wants to get in the cage, so to speak, you're not going to go off to get your face smashed in, excuse me, my computer's going all crazy at the minute. You're not going to go to somewhere and then go into work the next day. I mean, at the minute, obviously, it's my job doing this, but you've got to go into work Monday, and if your nose is on the one side of your face, and then you say you're a martial artist, people are quite judgmental. There's also the injuries that you can pick up. Like the amount of damage that I took to my nose over a 20-year period, before getting into Kudo. I wouldn't have had the nose operations at the time off work, all of those kind of parts of it. And also with Kudo, you've got the traditions, the etiquette, the values of traditional martial arts, where, you're expected to look after your partners, and you're not there just for yourself, So to be a top level fighter, and I think that's where for me, I didn't go that route because I was thinking, I can't commit to that. And I'm actually not that much of an aggressive guy. I'll defend the certain things. I will just press my buttons and I will kind of go that route. But, I don't feel the need to have to prove myself like some people do. And so I appreciate that, but they've got to sacrifice, and they've got to be very selfish in what they're trying to achieve to get there. If they're single, it's better, right? If there's no kids involved, definitely better, because you haven't got the additional worry about the kids and childcare. If you're a kind of you have a job which funds you. You can just throw yourself into it. But with Kudo, you can still be part of something, still have the martial arts, still have the etiquette and the respect, and be part of something, and still be able to put the head guard on and test your mettle, because that's the key element. The traditional martial arts, if you do majority of theory, and then at the end you just put the pads on for a couple of fights. And in grading systems, very similar. You do all of this theory, and then you just have a couple of fights just to get you over the line. And it's completely opposite in Kudo. You spend more time, getting the job done, and then the theory is how you improve yourself.
I couldn't agree more too with having kids and going to schools and that. I know that's what stopped me competing was when my daughter sort of had school age, and I was going with black eyes and, as you said, nose on the other side of the face, and it's not a good look at a school gate. And it's very hard to explain to teachers why you're coming in every Monday with black eyes, but you don't want to say the wife's beat me up, but
no one admits that. Well, it's the key thing, isn't it? That like I had a parent come up to me this week where the son is having problems in school, and he's a good boxer, and through school he had his own problems, but he's a decent guy. But then when the son gets involved in conflict and he comes in and still looks like a boxer, you know what they're thinking, right? They're just automatically judging the guy and then judging the son. So it's I think that people just don't understand martial arts for the benefit and what it can do for individuals, kids, confidence, and families. It's got so much to offer.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned there earlier you've done judo and karate and a lot of other martial arts, but is there any martial art that you haven't kind of dabbled in that you would like to give a go and try?
It was funny because we talked about this, didn't you? You caught me off guard with this question. That's because I've been involved in quite a lot of different martial arts, and from a cross trainer, but just to try and it's like if you go in somewhere new and you don't know how to do something, it's quite refreshing. It puts you under the pressure. And I'm just increasingly getting slower at learning, so it's always a little bit more harder each time. And then when I was in Spain, I was looking for a Sambo club, because that's a lot of people, they say, oh, Kudo is like Sambo, isn't it? But you've got a protector on your face, whereas in Sambo you don't. And they wear shorts and we wear trousers, so I was thinking what it'd be like to practice Sambo. But everybody in Spain seems to go on siesta for the whole of the summer because it's quite hot over there. So I was out there in their holiday, so I didn't get a chance to do that. But yeah, Sambo is definitely something I want to look into. The other arts, I think there's a lot of crossover between them as well. But I think you've only got so much time in a day, you know what I mean? I literally have no spare time. So if I'm going to go to do something, I feel it has to add to what we've already got as a skill set,
Yeah, I'm completely nuts for that kind of stuff. I'm like a magpie with a shiny thing. I can't pass a martial art with it. I'll try that, and then I'll try that, and then I'll try. So it's a nightmare. But and if somebody competes and does Kudo and that, what's your views on karate combat?
I think it depends which mood I'm in, because I think if you've got somebody ramming it down your neck like it's the best thing, it's one of these things we want to draw attention to as a format. Do I think it's better, or the best karate based something out there? I'd say yes, because it's Kyokushin, you've got knockdown, but there's no head contact, and they're limiting what you can do from grabs and all the rest of it. So you do get knockouts in Kyokushin, but it's still limited what you can do as a set for the fundamental skills. The what used to be semi-contact or no contact now, they're athletes because they've got to be an athlete not to hit each other. Yeah. So that's not a martial art, is it? So. And unfortunately, that's just a sport. So, the karate combat, at least they are going for it. And you've got some guys that have transitioned from those types of karate over to it. And even some of the what I would consider some of the freestyle karates have gone over to it, haven't they? So I think it could be something quite good, you know. I don't think it's for me like MMA. And the reason for me liking MMA is that if you're a true karate practitioner, I think you should always be thinking about, could I defend myself for real? You know, as in combat on the street. And when you got so many rules, you've got to realize that maybe the karate as a sport should never have happened, and karate should always be that kind of real roughneck martial art, a holistic set of skills. So I find it very difficult to sit myself back in that sport area with karate. That's why Kudo again is a better option for me, because it's more like the scrap than you're going to get with a rule set like that, you know. Definitely. I would have been crap at karate combat.
And what advice would you give somebody starting out in martial arts and going to their first class? What advice would you give them?
I think it's about confidence, isn't it? I think if they're a child, I think, you know, I suppose this is flipping on being an instructor. I would take dad, you know, and try and, you know, see who would treat my dad just as well as me, because I think the father-son like relationship is very special, and you need dad on board when you're trying to do it, because as a male figure, you know, you're going to be like, my karate instructor was like a father figure to me, and I could see the issue that my dad had with that, because it's attacking his masculinity as a guy, and I'm showing him how to fight, you know, that type of stuff. So I go along to the club to see what type of person the instructor is, because the arts, when they start off as kids, it's just really about upping their confidence, isn't it? And just getting them to a little bit of rough and tumble. And I think judo was a good start, really. You don't always want kids just knocking lumps out of each other, do you? And you know, wrestling, rolling around and getting that type of stuff, I think is a good start. As an adult, you're spoiled for choice, you know. I think what you've got to do is, like, again, look at the club from a safety point of view of what you're willing to do. And I'd take a look at, you know, how many people have, if it's got belt system, you know, if the whole class is a white belt, that means the retention is not good, right?
Yeah.
And if the whole class is high grades with no low grades, then maybe the class is being stagnated and doesn't know how to attract new people. So that there needs to have some sort of, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've fallen foul of both of those rules with my club. You know, you've got to find someone that they've given a little bit of thought of how you're going to get through the art. Have a chat with the instructor, and if it's all money belts, then walk back out again. If it's all, look, well, let's just see how you get on and work with you day by day, I think that's the best option, isn't it?
Excellent. And finally, as a karate guy, I have to ask, and I know I've asked this previously, but I don't know if you've been watching Cobra Kai, but would you be more of Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do?
On this series, I'd definitely be Cobra Kai. You know, I think I've romanticized karate for a very, very long time, and I think these days it's very nuts and bolts and a little bit more raw on that. And on the series, it's cheesy, isn't it? And I love it. It's that era that got me involved. So I don't know. I suppose if I was watching some episodes, I'd want to be a little bit more Daniel's side. But he's crap, isn't he? Series. I never remembered him being that bad, but they should have brought some decent martial artists on that program, I think. But I can't wait. I can't wait for the next set of episodes. Binge watch.
It seems to be getting a lot of genuine martial artists back under the cast now from the original films.
Yeah,
I know Terry Silver. I know he's been training martial arts for many years.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sean Kanan will be back as Mike Barnes, but
yeah,
I know he's a very, very talented martial artist now. So it'll be interesting to see how this next season plays out. But
that's good for martial arts, isn't it? Anything on the TV attracts the kids. You know, you've got to romanticize it a little bit for them to want to get involved in it. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Definitely. And I always found it quite ironic too how Daniel has never done karate in real life, yet he's probably been the biggest influence on karate over the last 30 years. But there's irony there somewhere. But
well, he probably actually believes he can do it. You can see it when he's acting or out doing the kata. No, stop.
Definitely. Well, it was a pleasure having you on again, Mal, and thanks very much for time and keep in touch.
No worries. Well, don't forget, you know where I am, and if anybody wants to get hold of me, just give us a Google, and I'll get back to you.
No problem. Thanks, I'll have all the links in the description, and I'm sure they'll find you.
Okay, you take care of yourself.